And at one point I just pulled up the level on the sample just a little bit because it was a little low, so I used that to do that. So I'll just put a little echo on the voice at the very end here, and I'll do that by first inserting a little bit of silence. Though Audacity doesn't want to work on anything where there isn't actually any audio data, so this sample kind of ends here. So we'll do that by kind of selecting in at the end of that sample and then generating some silence. It defaults to 30 seconds, so that's fine. I think there might be a little bit of a gap there, so I think I could just kind of force it on top. Okay, so I'll zoom in a bit because I don't want to have too much echo, and here's where you can experiment a bit. You'll have more time to try out a few things. Tech.com. I could certainly save my project at this point, and then I wouldn't be too worried about mucking things up. So .com. So you should definitely save it a few times if you're worried about that. So I'll just use echo.com. Okay, so that's kind of a goofy thing, but it's just an idea to try a few different things, and then we'll just give that a quick listen. .com. Okay, so that's about a 30-second promo, and I'll just export it quickly by selecting it up until about where the music faded out completely, and I'll export this selection. Again, you want to save the project. You don't want to just do an export because you won't have the work you did in the separate tracks, but I'll just show you how to export it. I'll call it promo test signal, and I'll just take these out. And I'll save it as an MP3 file, and I'll call it promo test signal MP3, which I already probably have one here, so an old one, and I'll just save over it, and it says it'll mix it down. And so here I'll open the file up in Winamp.
Do you like music?
Yes.
Why don't you put a record on?
Tune in to Test Signal with Mr. Cordner for a half hour of retro hits and new songs. Test Signal on Radio Moet, on the web at moettech.com. Okay, so there's our final MP3. So make sure to save your project file, save project, or save project as if you want to rename it. If you've kind of done a certain number of things up to a certain point, you want a new copy. And and ask any questions. Feel free to play around with some effects. If there's other effects that you know of that you'd like to try, let me know, and we can look and see if there's some free versions that we can put in. And just go crazy, because this exercise is really about exploring Audacity and digital audio and finding out what you can do with it. So ask me any questions, and I look forward to checking out your program promos.